Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel. For those of you who are new, I would like to officially welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to crochet this beautiful scarf here. This is a nice chunky winter scarf that I thought it would be good to just kind of include as part of my videos here, so that when you're ready to start making winter stuff again, which is going to be just in a couple of months, you're able to use this tutorial to do that. And as you can see here, this pattern is absolutely beautiful. You can use this stitch to do other things such as blankets as well, maybe even shawls. But for now, I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this scarf with it. With the colors, I did not change these colors as I went. These colors come like this. And that takes me to talking about the yarn. This is what I used to do this scarf here. This is Karen Big Donut by Inspiration Ogo. I have done a few things on my channel using this yarn. So just a little bit of the information about it. It's a medium weight number 4. And it's 100% acrylic. Recommended hook size is a 5mm crochet hook or H8 US. And these are the measurements here if you would like to know how big it is. For this scarf here, I pretty much used one full donut. And at the end, I had maybe just a couple of inches of yarn left. And this color is called Raspberry Glazed, okay? So this is what I used for this scarf. Just a little bit of the measurements on this scarf. So I have 24 rows altogether here. And this scarf is about 60 inches long. And if I can just use my tape measure here. So the width is about 10 inches. And I started by doing 201 chains for this. So this 60 inches that I have is with 201 chains, and I will explain to you why that number in just a little bit, okay? So this is what we're going to be working on. I'm going to be showing you a small sample, okay? Since I've already completed doing the project here, I'm going to show you a small sample just so you understand how to work with this pattern here, and then you can go ahead and create the size of the scarf that you're looking for. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and put these away, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, my lovelies, so I'm going to be using this yarn here to show you how to do this scarf here. So we're just doing a sample. Okay, so this yarn is just some leftover scrap yarn that I had laying around. The most important thing is that the same size as the scarf that I'm doing, so that it will have the same consistency as the scarf, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. As you can see here, I'm using my recommended hook size, which is a 5mm crochet hook or H8 US. And I just have this laying around in case, for you particularly, if you need to know how long you want to do your scarf, it's good to have this guy laying around so you can measure the length of your chain. Okay, so like I said, I did 201 chains on this, and that's how I got my 60 inches long scarf. And so I'm going to be showing you guys a sample with this, and because it's a sample, I'm going to do a lot smaller number of chains. So I'm going to do a chain of 41. And this pattern starts with multiples of 4 plus 1, okay? So we're going to do multiples of 4 until I get to 40, and then I will add the 1, okay? So again, when you start your project, understand how many inches you want your scarf to be, how long you want it to be, and then you're going to do the number of chains that will correspond to that, okay? So I'll go ahead and get started by doing a slip knot here, just like that, and then I'm going to start doing my 40 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is my chain of 40 right here, so just a sample. And then I'm going to add my plus 1. So this is my multiples of 4 that gets me to 40, and then I add one more, which is going to be my turning chain. And then now I'm going to show you guys how to do the first row, and then we will go ahead and I will show you how to do multiples of rows here before I will let you guys repeat this until you get the width of the scarf that you're looking for, or shawl or blanket or whatever you're making. Okay, so for the first row, we're skipping that 41st stitch that we did, and in this 40th one, we're going to do a half double crochet in the back of the chain, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to move on to the next stitch, and we're going to go grab the back of that chain and do our half double crochet, and then we're going to do that in the next, and we will continue to do this until we get to the end of the row. Okay, now if you crochet tight, it would be good to use a little bit of a bigger hook size, so maybe go up to 5.5. And if you crochet really loose, then it's also a good idea to reduce the size of your hook, maybe go down to 4.5, and that will help you have a proper intensity of your work. But because this is a chunky scarf, I crochet pretty even, so usually I don't crochet too tight or too loose. I try to keep my stitches very even. So I use the right crochet hook size that's recommended. But yeah, just adjust your hook based on how you usually crochet. And of course, you can do this project with a different size of yarn. You could do a lightweight yarn. You could even do like a chunky weight yarn. You just have to adjust your hook appropriately so that it's not too tense or it's not too loose. Okay, so go ahead and do your half double crochets in the back of the chain until you get to the end here. When you get to this end, come back and I will show you how to start the second row. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I've gone ahead and completed my half double crochet stitches here on the foundation chain. So as you can see, this is how it looks like. Okay, so now I have 40 stitches left here. Okay, we did 41. The first one was my turning chain, and then I worked with 40 stitches. And this is going to be the number of stitches that you're working with consistently throughout the project. And for my project here, I started with 201 chains, and then I skipped the first chain to do this first part of the project, leaving me with 200 stitches. So with this one, I was working with 200 stitches. So my 60 inches on this is my 200 stitches throughout this project. Okay, all right, so just to explain a little bit of the sizing there. Now we're going to go ahead and get started with our second row, and I'm going to do a chain of 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then turn. And now we're going to the stitch right after the chain 3 here. We're going to work into that stitch and do 2 double crochets in it. Okay, so that's 1 and 2. And our chain 3 counts as a stitch. So now we're going to end up having 3 all together at the end here. Okay, just like that. So this is how this first part of it looks like. And then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and this 4th stitch, I'm going to do 4 double crochets in that stitch. Okay, so I'm doing a cluster of double crochets in the same stitch here, just like that. And then I'm going to skip 3 stitches, so 1, 2, 3. In this 4th one, I'm going to do 4 double crochet stitches. Okay, and then we're just going to repeat this all the way to the end here. Okay, so you're gonna have 3 stitches left at the end here. After you do your final cluster of double crochets, come back before you get to the end, and I will show you guys how to finish off the end here and then get started with our next row. But for now, just repeat this. Keep skipping 3 stitches, and in the 4th stitch do 4 double crochets, and then repeat that until you're almost at the end. When you get there, I will show you the next step. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I have reached the end here, almost at the end, and that's how your work looks so far. And so I have 3 stitches here. I'm going to skip these 2 stitches here, and in the very last one here I am going to do 3 double crochets. Okay, so we're going to do 3 double crochets at the end here, and this is going to emulate the side that we started off here. Okay, so that's what I have here, and that is what we started off here. So that is how my work looks so far. And then we're going to get started with the 3rd row. So we're going to chain 1 and turn, and this is going to be the repeat row right here. Okay, so we do that, and then we pretty much go through and do half double crochets across this row, and this is going to be to establish another row like the first one that we did here. And this is pretty much why it's a repeat row. We're going to be alternating between the half double crochet stitches and the blocks of the 4 double crochet stitches in each stitch. And that is what this pattern is going to look like. Okay, so as you can see, this is pretty much what we're doing here. Okay, we're just stacking up these blocks of double crochets on top of each other, but in between them we're putting a row of half double crochet, and that's what I'm doing here. Okay, so go ahead and complete this row of half double crochets all the way to the end, and when you get to the end, then you're gonna come back again, and I will show you how to do another row of the clusters here. And then I will let you guys repeat that until you get to the size that you're looking for. Okay, so I will see you guys at the end of this row. Okay, so I'm at the end of my 3rd row here, and as you can see, I have 1 more stitch to go. So this is the chain 3 that we did at the beginning of the previous row. So I'm just going to do my half double crochet on top of the 3rd chain like that. Okay, so that is the end here, and then we're going to start our 4th row. Okay, so for this 4th row, any row that we're doing the clusters here, we're going to do a chain of 3 to start, and then turn. And any row where we're doing the half double crochet stitch, we're chaining 1 and then turning. All right, so again, we're here, we're going to do 3 double crochets at the beginning here, but the chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and then we add 2 more to give us that first cluster there. So all of these will have 3 clusters at each end, but right after that is clusters of 4 double crochets. Okay, so right after I'm done that, I'm going to skip 3. So 1, 2, 3. In this 4th one here, I will do my double crochet 4 times in that same stitch. Okay, two, 3, and 4. Oops, and 4. And then I'm going to skip 3. So 1, 2, 3. In this 4th one, I'm going to do 4 double crochets in the same stitch. And I think you guys kind of understand the idea here by now. Okay, and again, we continue to do this until we get to the end. So as you can see here, we're stacking up on top of the clusters are stacking up on top of each other. So we're going to do this all the way until we get to here. Our final for our final stitch here, we're going to be doing 3 double crochets at the final stitch, and then we're going to start the other row. Excuse this here, this is just a knot that I did to connect my yarn. So I will just eventually, usually what I do is I just tuck it in between like this, so it kind of disappears between the stitches. But yeah, go ahead and just repeat this. Skip 3 stitches, and in the 4th stitch do your double crochet 4 double crochets in the same stitch until you get to the end. And in the final one, you're going to be doing 3 double crochets, and then we will turn and repeat what we did in this previous row here, which is a full complete row of half double crochets. And then we're going to repeat this pattern until you get the size that you're looking for. So for this sample that I'm making, I'm just gonna work on it a little bit until I have a decent size that we can look at, and then I'll come back at the end to show you how to complete the final row of the work. But for now, just keep repeating this until you have a decent size, okay? And then I'll come back so you can see how I finish it off. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have done a few rows here. I believe I have about 11 rows, 12 rows here, and that's how it looks like so far. Now I just came back quickly here to show you something. So as you can see here from these previous rows of the clusters of the double crochets, I did not show you guys how to do the final stitch on each of these rows here, because we do put 2 together here and then we skip and go into the final stitch and do one final one there, and that kind of pretty much reflects what happens at the beginning here. So as you can see here, this is our chain 3 that stands alone, and in the next stitch is where we do 2 double crochet stitches. Okay, so I just wanted to come back and explain that, because we're not actually putting the final 3 stitches all in the same spot. We're putting 2 in one stitch, and then finally we'll do 1 in the final stitch. So I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here. Okay, so I'm gonna skip 1, 2, 3, and in this 4th stitch here I'm going to do 2 double crochets. Okay, and I apologize I didn't show you these at the beginning. So like that, and as you can see, we do have 1 final stitch to go at the end. So instead of doing it in the second last stitch, there's 1 more final stitch here that we're going to go into and do our final double crochet. So as you can see here, it looks like we do have a line that goes along all the way down, and we have the same on this side, because our chain 3 at the beginning of each of these rows does have a chain 3 that counts as a double crochet, and then in the next stitch is where we do the 2 double crochets to make it 3 at the beginning and at the end of each of these rows. Okay, all right, now with that explained, I am going to show you guys how to finish it off. I am pretty much done this yarn here, so I'm going to show you guys how to complete the final row here, and it's gonna be to match this section here. So as you can see, our first row here was a half double crochet row, so we're just going to finish the row here with a half double crochet row. Okay, so I am going to do a chain of 1 and turn, and then just do my half double crochets across this row, and this is going to be my final row. So this is how you're ending each of your rows, and it's gonna make it balanced so that we have the same ending on this side as this ending. Now for those of you who maybe want to make this into, let's say, to have like tassels, if you'd like to have tassels on your scarf, then you will make sure you have enough yarn to be able to complete that. Or for those of you who may want to make this scarf an infinity scarf, you can also finish your scarf like this and then just join it like that to make it infinity. But for now, instead of giving you guys too many options here, for now just complete this row of half double crochet all the way to the end here, and then come back and we will pretty much see how it looks like at the end. Okay, so see you guys when you have completed this row. Okay, my lovelies, so as you can see here, I have completed my final row here of the half double crochet to finish off the project. So again, this is just a sample. This is why we have it this small. I'm just gonna make sure I go a little bit wider here so you can see. Okay, so I wanted to widen the lens here so you can see it fully. So that is pretty much the sample that we're making here. And like I said, you start with this and then you end with that so that it kind of blocks it in. For those of you who are a little bit picky, if you wanted to kind of do this on the edges here as well, you absolutely can. You would just have to turn this yarn this way, do 1, chain 1, and then do your half double crochets along here. But I really don't mind. I think it looking like that has absolutely, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so this is the sample here. Hopefully you will finish the actual full project like this one here that I have. Yeah, so this is pretty much the end of this project here. I thank you so much for joining in this little fun project, and I hope you will have your full project created in due time. It will take a little bit longer to do the actual full project, but please go ahead and do that, and then and make sure it looks as nice as this one. You don't have to use the yarn that I'm using. You can use one solid color. You can buy different colors and change the colors yourself, or you can simply go grab a donut, big donut from this yarn, this brand that I'm using here, and do the same the same thing where you have the colors predetermined for you, which is what I did here, because I wouldn't want to buy all these 5 colors individually and then putting them together. So this is a great idea for these type of yarns to exist out there. And like I said, I've done a few projects on my channel. If you go check it out, you will see a few of these yarn with different variation of colors that I have done using this yarn. Okay. All right, well, this is pretty much the end of this video here. Thank you so much again for watching to the end. And if you're new here and you have not subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so, and make sure you like this video if you like it. And of course, use the comment section below to ask any questions or to just say hi or whatever the case is. Thank you so much again, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.